Blackened and aged steel with slate black. For this piece of metal, we'll start off by using the Sculpt Nouveau metal cleaner and a Scotch-Brite pad. It's important to degrease before we start sanding to ensure that we don't push oils that have collected on the metal further into the metal. If we skip this step, it can create problems for us later on when we go to apply the patina. Once we're done using our Scotch-Brite pad, we can pull off all the nasty grime that we've cleaned off. Then we're going to use a plethora of water to try and really neutralize that phosphoric acid in the metal cleaner. And here we'll show you what it actually looks like. You can see we really got to degrease it before we start sanding. Once we're done with degreasing, we'll go straight into the orbital sand. Here we're using 80 grit sandpaper on an orbital sander. This step can also be replaced by just sandblasting. After sanding, we'll use some isopropyl alcohol to degrease it once again. You can use the Sculpt Nouveau metal cleaner if desired, but isopropyl alcohol allows you to degrease and get the fresh sanded portions off without having to add water to the process. And here we can start with our slate black. As you can see, we're just spraying it on. You can also brush it, roll it, sponge it. However you get it onto the metal, it will react. The thing to keep in mind is how you apply it will show some tells, and you just need to act accordingly to fix those. For instance, now that we've sprayed it, this first coat is a little hard to see, but it's a little dotty. So we'll go in with a white Scotch-Brite pad while it's still reacting and help smooth out some of those dots that we've created for ourselves. Once we've burnished the entire thing, we'll rinse it off with water and do another coat. This first coat is a sacrificial coat, but it ensures that you get a smoother patina later on. After we're done with our first coat, we'll use a sponge with plenty of water. We can't stress enough how much water you need to get on here. If you don't use enough water, it can streak very easily, which will become problematic later on. As you can see, we have some highs and lows with this piece. We're just going to slate black right over the top and keep on rolling. We're not going for a straight solid black on this piece. We really want it to kind of look aged and have a lot of movement. So the streaking that did happen isn't going to bother us. It's just going to emphasize as we do more coats. And we're just going to follow the same steps we had before. Let it react for 2 to 3 minutes. Rinse it off with a lot of water. Here we've actually propped our metal up on 3 blocks. So when we go to rinse it, all of the runoff is easier to move into the one corner where our bucket is sitting under. And we're going to apply our third coat of slate black. Remember, to get a good solid black, you need usually about 3 coats reacting about 2 to 3 minutes each. But remember, if you do that sacrificial coat the first time, you'll actually need about 4 coats for a solid black. Once the metal has dried after our final neutralization, we can clear coat it. Here we're using Clear Guard Matte. As you can see as we go over it with the clear coat, a lot of the rusting that's happening will go away, but those more distinctive features, like there in the center, will still kind of pop out a little, and that's what we wanted on this piece. Once our first coat has dried, we can go back with our second coat. As mentioned in other videos, we like to do an omnidirectional spray. So we'll come from a different angle this time. And here we have our final piece, with slate black used as an aged process. But if it's a little too rustic for your liking, you can also use patina stain like we did in this picture and blacken it completely. It still has a lot of modeling, but the rust is much less visible. And as always, slate black, patina stains, and clear guard are all available at www.sculptnouveau.com.